October 25th at 6:01. We are going to start with a roll call. I am here, Maria Memphis Cruiser. Pam, are you here? Pam is not here. Paulus?
Yes, I'm here.
Jacqueline?
I'm here.
Barney?
Present.
So we do have a quorum. We are missing Gail and Pam today. Are there any announcements? Then we're going to go through our agenda.
Am I on track for the phone? Sorry, my brain's.
Oh, we need to approve minutes. Can I have someone approve the minutes from our last meeting?
I make the motion to approve the minutes from August 25th.
Will someone second?
Second.
The minutes passed. All right, we are going to, for new business, have a consideration discussion. Hopefully take action or approval of the COA for Slice Street Pizza. Warren, is there anything like that?
I think we're going to make a presentation. I'm going to take a quick sec.
No problem.
Guess they don't do a pledge.
Mm-hmm.
Guess they don't do a pledge of allegiance. Kind of special here.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm going to let the applicant, they don't know what he plans to do. That is what.
Thank you, Chair. Hello again.
Hello, Jerry.
Friendly faces and a new friendly face. I've prepared a 3-hour soliloquy where we will discuss the benefits of pizza, probably. No, I'm just kidding. Very simple. The goal is to take that. My name is Darius Aram. I represent GLD Hospitality LLC, and we are Slice Street Pizza. This will be location 2, because it's taking longer than I wanted to. But we wanted to do location 1. Location 1 will be in Dripping Springs. Our goal is to bring healthy fast food to everywhere that we go. Clean ingredients, really good pizza, and consistent, really good pizza. We are under contract for this building. We have delayed close just to make sure that we get the certificate of appropriateness and all that locked down appropriately. What we're trying to do is very simple. Looking at that front facade, the goal was to take the A-frame awning and extend it just a little bit off to the right towards the rock face, and then all the way off to the left towards the drive-through. To match more in line with what you see around the square. TRB, next door, Red Bud, basically the entire square has these awnings that kind of jut out. So our thought was to line up with that. We're going to leave the existing awning structure in the back as is. We're going to leave the drive-through intact and use the building as a drive-through pizza place. For those of you who like pizza, which seems to be almost everybody these days, that means pizza by the slice through the drive-through. It's kind of a fun thing. In addition to that, there will be a door added in the drive-through lane, basically that goes from the building into the drive-through. We do that just for the purpose of being able to bust the line as it gets too long. Have someone come out and take some orders. And for it's a good thing to know that there was an existing window or door there before that seems to have been covered up, that they're going to be doing that. At this point in time, our proposal had us adding some cedar highlights to the building, just to kind of make it feel a little bit more what we thought would be more along the lines of the historical look and feel of the town. It seems like Rudy might comment on that. I don't really care. If you don't want the cedar, you don't want the cedar. It doesn't really bother me. My goal is to try to make it prettier. And if that doesn't line up with the feel of the historical committee, that's okay by me. I'm still going to do good pizza. The one thing that I will comment on is that awning to me is important because we really wanted to build another environment for people to hang out at. I know it's not the most exciting place to hang out on the corner of, 281 past 281 and 4th, but the idea was creating an open space that people could sit from the left of the rock to the right of the drive-through, and not requiring that you be a pizza customer to sit down there. So it's another place with our busy, hustle bustle of Blanco those 2 times a year when people are coming through, every weekend when our population quadruples, to be able to have a place to sit down and get out of the sun and enjoy food or drink. I think it's about as simple as that, and I will yield to the gentleman.
It's a drive-through. That would have been banned if that thing had been tapped.
All the commission report.
I want to ask you one question. On the awning, is it gonna go all the way just all the way to the right, or is it gonna go all the way across the building?
So the idea is that it kind of extends just off to the right to meet or very close to meet that rock facade.
Okay.
Not much farther than that, and frankly, not all the way to the rock, but just think of it kind of splitting the difference there. And then going all the way pretty much to the left. So that way your outdoor dining is a few feet to the right of the door and all the way to the drive-through.
We don't have a rendering of this at this time.
There was a rendering in the original package that we emailed.
This rendering?
Look at another one. There should be another one.
Yeah, I was like, I have, these are just.
Yeah, it was fine. I think it was in the package that we submitted.
Yeah. This is. These are.
No, other.
The other one?
Wait, here we go.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, so this rendering has it going all the way off to the right. That was the first rendering. There should have been another one that showed it off to the left. Either way, I'm amenable to either one. If you allow for the awning to be throughout the entire front, we'll do it throughout the entire front. If you allow it to be off to the left, we'll do it off to the left. We're pretty easy to work with.
Is that the picture you wanted there?
That's a different picture. That shows the addition of cedar to the exterior of the building. And that's my handwriting. That was the initial one that showed us removing the awning in the back, but there was an updated one that was sent leaving the awning there. Right. So we're pretty easy to work with. I kind of like that.
So what? So this one, it would go to all the way to here or no?
Yeah, close to all the way.
A little bit further over there.
Yeah, I want to maximize that front area to the extent that I'm allowed. And if I'm told I can have the entire front, I'm going to talk to my contractors and we'll make that decision to do the entire front. If I'm told only to the left, I'll do only to the left. It really, we'll have some fun either way.
So are you gonna have parking?
No,
So you're gonna have parking kind of where the drive-through area is?
No, the
Of course.
parking will be, so we're a takeout, delivery, and drive-through. No,
So there's gonna be no sitting.
dining is not what we want, right? And I can go extrapolate on the data of how hard it is to hire and, maintain labor in this town and why so many people struggle to keep, at hours. So I very well may have a table or two inside. I very well may have tables outside. I could care less if they're used by people that are dining with me or just used by someone who wants to sit down. My goal and where I expect the majority of our business to be is takeaway. I expect someone to make an effort, come up 281 North, see me on the left, flip around at the nearest opportunity, pop into the drive-thru, grab some slices, maybe put an order in, and wait down the road. And then we'll walk it out. We're gonna have 2 spaces in front of the building that we will work with the city on whether we can stripe, and with TxDOT if we can stripe. If not, we'll put temporary signs up while we're out there. The drive-through is designed to take people through and grab a slice and a pepperoni roll and a sandwich, 3 to 5 minutes per car. And if that doesn't work out, then we can take it to you in your park down the road. I've talked to Uptown Blanco. I know that that's technically city parking across the way. I can create an agreement with Uptown in their back parking lot if I truly needed to. I don't foresee any of that being something that we.
Okay, just curious, okay.
I'll stay close.
So y'all do have the report.
Yes.
I will refer back to some of the photos. If I can see the photo of the original front facade.
You submitted, or do you mean the?
Up there on the screen,
As it was.
as it was in 19.
That one right there.
That one right there.
That's what you want?
Yeah. So if I have those attention, because y'all be holding on. The commissioner of the historic district got initiated 1988. Is that correct, Retta? 1988?
The function.
Rebecca, Kenny says yes. But that photo there, when they had it registered nationally, that was 1991. And it looked just like that. And it has those old signs. And there's some other photos that I should have gotten that it shows that the corner, the main street from the light, which would be the left to the right, that building stuck over. And there was a permit pulled out in 1999. And it was authorized to go ahead and knock it down. Because it was drive-through, it was a savings and loan, it was removed. Okay? At the time, it was non-contributing. Makes a difference. Okay. Should they have allowed it to not be removed? Possibly. But we weren't here. Okay. And there's no COA, there's no other record. So my job is to investigate and ask questions to try to find out what happened. So what we do at this time, we take it as it is. Okay. And as it was registered, and it's on that report, it showed that it was rock, stucco, awnings, and the metal roof. Okay. Doesn't talk about parking, doesn't talk about landscaping. Although in historic, you can talk about landscaping if that comes into place. That's like the water well that's here at the courthouse. That's part of the landscape. It got retaken that there was taken away for many years. So that's part of landscape. Kind of get an idea of what happened. So let me go ahead and read the report. This is based on the UDC Chapter 4 Blanco Design Guidelines of the City of Blanco. Blanco Historic District Paint Guidelines, the Secretary Choose Treatment of Historic Properties, and guidelines, the National Registry, Historic Places for Blanco in 1991, and some other copies have been submitted of photos of that period. So removing the existing A-frame, as we see there, the front porch over the main street should be denied. And the reason is, because when they took the photo in 1991, it was there. Should it ever get removed, with the understanding that the property owners should go back or could go back to make it look like that. Okay. And the reason is because in 1999, some stuff was removed that maybe shouldn't have been. Okay. Same thing happened with the bank at the corner. It doesn't look the way it was in 1991. It's changed 2 or 3 times. And right now it's got that Hill Country look. And when I met with the gentleman here, he said he would like to maintain that Hill Country look with that awning to replicate the other stuff. I guess we understood what it was there. Okay. Based on the near original copies of the printed document, documents registered with the National Registration Historic Places back in 1991, that's gone online. From 1991 to 1999, the building extended to the property line from close to it. Here is a city's record for a permit that shows that the PEC in 11/29/1999 will be permit. I have all the copies of all the. Everyone's done with that building there. I highlighted the. You want to pass that down?
Thank you.
Good one. You know what, I even have one for Candy. So when we look at the list of permits that was digged out, and I really appreciate that the girls at the office were able to do this. I really didn't expect anything to come up, but it did. So you can look at all the ones from the last one, 2022, all the way to 1999. It says they got a building permit to remove the canopy, renovate the mechanical, electrical, and the building interior and replace the roof. So that was allowed back then. It looks good today, right? Should the new owners ever decide to go back the way it was, it would be encouraged. Can you force someone to do that? That's not a kind of possibility.
But I'm confused. Do we know what it looked like?
Yeah, there's photos. If you can flip it
What
over.
was it like? What's the difference between how it looks today and that?
It's the backside.
Can you
Oh,
flip
okay.
it to one of the dark ones? Did y'all get the photos by email?
But this,
So Barnaby, for some reason, is off the email list and then.
what's the point?
Right there, that one. Look like this, sir. See that corner with the rock at the corner
Okay,
on the left side?
I'm not sure what he wants to do there.
Nothing.
Okay.
All we're saying, that's the way it was in 1991.
Okay.
In 1999, it got removed.
Well, sure, he's concerned with his patio, right?
I understand that, but I have to cover everything.
Okay, gotcha.
We cover the history of the building. If they don't come back to us,
Especially in the state of Texas, that's regulation.
yeah, and if he wants to apply for a loan or get a grant or get the 25% in the 25% state, 20 federal tax credits, they're going to document everything. So he needs all this.
I understand, I didn't understand what happened. I got it.
I mean, as you go on the other ones, you're gonna say, oh, I know that, I did a job. A while. It takes a while because it's a lot of paperwork. So y'all did get that, okay? Go back to reading. And the owner had said, you know, I got put here, he wants to remove, in keeping with the Texas Hill Country look, the owner would like some outside dining on the south side of his building on 4th Street to follow the front facade of the look of the Redwood Cafe and the Texas Regional Bank. Okay? What he disclosed is written down, because we had a good conversation. Okay? And then you know, see this too. By constructing a new awning using the same wood cedar beams and color stain, metal posts, and the green color are roof panels as existing at the main street on the side of the building with a new 25 by 10 flat. Don't have questions? In an awning with metal pole. I entertain the idea of a metal railings as seen in Redbud to divide the dining customers to the sidewalk pedestrians. The railings ideas are not necessarily to meet an approved CO. So when you read that, don't feel that he has to have it. I recommend it to him, his money. So when he puts that railing, if people are sitting there, they feel like the crops are not going to push it or abuse it. Does that make sense? Probably right.
On 4th Street.
Yes, sir. Then he says if, BHPC does approve the new awning, the existing A-frame roof or should remain in place and the new awning can be blended in. Okay? But that's where you guys will go. You might not like this idea, but I have to stick as best as I can to that bill. Let's go to the next bullet. The installation of the new wood cedar lap siding to the current two vertical stucco spaces facing the main street, if we can get the photo. Just click it over to, I'll stop you. Right. Y'all see those two stucco vertical spots? Okay. He's proposing to put some black cedar just to give it the mid-century look. And I said, as long as he puts some walleye tubes stripped on it, with very little damage to the rock, we're going to talk about that. Then he could put the cedar on top of that. When he moves away, that it could be removed with very, very little destruction or damage. Okay? That can happen. We don't want to damage the building. If you add to it, we want to make it to where it can be. Does that make sense? Because times change. Okay? Business has changed. So there too, should be denied. The only reason is because it was never there, but it can't get approved if y'all approve of that. It says extra care should be taken not to damage the building or the existing stucco. Understands that. In the future, the siding can be removed and the owners can fill the holes and apply some new paint. It is a non-technical spec. Install 3 vertical treated furring wood strips, should be anchored with small screws. Apply some vapor barrier, that's to keep the water from hiding back there before the new cedar lap siding is installed. The installation of the new commercial door that he talked about exiting out on the west wall facing the next door house at the roof line should be approved. This is where the money deposits or at M&I studied the stucco, and you can tell that the stucco, there was something there beforehand. The only other way to find out is to go inside and destroy the inside till you get to the frame. And if you see evidence that there was a door, that is okay. And read that he's going to have a restaurant anyway, he might need that as an escape. And if you say, the fire department will come back, he's got to have an exit door.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you. Then it says the existing stucco should be cleaned up, patch painted of the existing stucco, metal holes in a black color basin indicated for the slide on the stain on the existing cedar beams on the open underside of the decking. That's at the awning. The open rafters to the existing awning should be approved. The color choice will be as existing or color switch. Apply a color mortar or filler. If we can see the one with the little X's. Okay, right there. Hopefully you guys will stick here along as commissioners or teach the new guys. The problem with that there that the building has inherited, when the sign companies drill a hole, it should never be to the stone. That's what'll happen when they put the sleeves, you can expand it. They go through the mortar, they put them pretty deep. They go through the mortar, it's easy to build a mortar, but not anti-frost. Go ahead.
Isn't that pretty common knowledge? I have a rock wall in my house and I would never drill into the rock because it's gonna break the rock. But the mortar.
All the reports that I make when I look at historic preservation officer, I never avoided that. That's very, those little things are very, very important. No one's done that other than the poker place. I think they put one to the rock, and that's a real old building. And I still need to talk to the owner that when you remove that, careful. If it happens, it's the sign company. You will have to make sure that the sign company, we're talking about this. But I'm recommending for him to feel the holes for that, to make it look monolithic flush. I'm gonna be a little bit up there, but I'm not gonna make the money there. Doing that job, little money anyway, right? That's my whole report, all the references on there, they're all based on that. If you had any questions, I'll entertain that.
I don't know if this is appropriate to you, but as depicted in the rest of the awning, I mean, there aren't any other A-frame awnings in the downtown area, are there?
Well, he's trying to blend in, it's in front of Red Bud.
There's one.
And then,
He's asking, are there other A-frame awnings in?
on the entire square,
And is there any, other than the fact that the building was designated historic in 1991 and it had the A-frame awning, is there any, I want to understand the implications of allowing the A-frame to be removed for the historic designation of the square.
if you recall, I had denied it.
Right.
But times change, and it's up to you guys based on the references. That building was, the way we look at it, was built in 1975, or 2023, now it's historic.
Yeah.
Okay, it takes 50 years. If you make a new district and it's historic and there's a brand new home there, it's gonna be 50 years before that one's recognized as historic, otherwise it's non-contributing. And so all the damage that had been done is to pass.
I understand that part, but what are the implications if it were allowed? We can't allow it.
They,
No, it's up to us to vote
That's what I'm
on it.
saying. So what are the implications if we do allow it? As we are changing a building that
that's
is.
a question.
That's-
If you come back and fight someone that is not recognizable, and it should be. Okay, I do not hold. I go up what they want, not in his favor. I go up what's written there. But sometimes, I'll give you an example, like the courthouse here. It has stairs in the back. When I got his little red, I recommended them to paint it to come it is today. He said, well, that wasn't there in 1853, 54, whenever it was built. Yeah, but 88 and the escape.
You know,
Recommend, you have to have that there. Okay, so things change.
Okay, my next question is, would it be possible instead of an A-frame to have some other more, like a different type of, yeah, a different type of, with that roof on it, awning, that
Yeah.
could kind of fit more so instead of A-frame to that mid-century is where it was.
That's what I'm requesting. What you're asking for, that's what I'm requesting.
You're talking about removing the A-frame or not? I think you're saying no, right?
I don't. Am I confused? Hold on.
If we did remove the A-frame, what would be a better, is there something that would be more appropriate to the square? And the first thing that comes to my mind is, I look at the red bud awning, and then I look at the Brigger Pottery awning, and the Brigger Pottery is more of a traditional Texas, it's got more of a, maybe a 20-degree slope, I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
The red bud has that shed rack, that shed on it because it's got the first story windows above it. And it doesn't look, it kind of looks more modern, so.
If they try to replicate what's historic. The contractor, yeah, the contractor that did that, the same contractor, so it wasn't two different periods. It was all done the same way. It was done by design. What I recommended for him is to leave that there and build the awnings on either side. That way they can always go away and you'll always have that.
But the A-frame is just mid-century modern. To me, like, is mid-century modern truly the
And it's
country?
not, okay, let me tell you this. You never want to take an existing modern type of building and try to falsify it to look historic.
I
Okay?
mean,
It's like if I have an 1870 home and it has Morton back like this out here, or pressed wood, and I make an addition, then I come with modern materials. Don't try to falsify it as if it was there in 1870.
Doesn't the cedar insert kind of be more of a, I don't see how that's been considered modern.
also, my question is, so you're saying they installed it in the 70s? The
The building
A-frame?
this building was it was built in 1975.
Okay, so that's sticking to that.
But that awning wasn't there when it was built.
Yes, sir, that A-frame was.
Okay,
Exactly how you see it. The only thing that's been omitted was on the back. That drive-through. Do y'all remember, okay, you
I
said
was,
something?
I've been trying to remember when I go there to see Laura, and I don't
It
remember
was-
if it had that entrance or not. I mean, there was always an entrance there, obviously, but I don't remember that. I don't remember.
The pictures that we have did not have that rear awning. That was put there in 1999.
Well, I'm talking about the apron on.
Oh, the A-frame.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
And that's 91. That's all we have.
That is community savings.
We don't have an older version
No,
of the
that's the
so we're
problem.
assuming.
I think that
Who
was
would
added.
have to look
And without it, you know, it kind of makes sense that it was that much you say, because it only follows the door.
yeah,
If you
so,
go, if you go look at the stucco, there was a window there.
okay, so the actual awning above the door is what?
But apron, let's call that an apron.
Okay,
Awning is your slope, like a canopy.
I don't think there was a cover at all.
I
Yeah.
would be shocked. Yeah, that's all. Was that in the 80s, I'm sure.
I really.
Yeah, it doesn't look like 1975.
No,
I know 1975.
Oh my God.
I was a framer.
Okay, your awning, is it gonna be just a flat roof all the way across? No.
Be a slight pitch. designed to, and I'm not picking on TRB or Redbud, just they're the two closest. Our goal was to look at all the awnings in the square and try to come up with that kind of common denominator hill country awning that just looks like it belongs. And the way that I understand, regardless of, for respect of what, you know, Rudy has done, I think it's great. The way that I understand y'all's role, and you can correct me, is to preserve the historical nature of the town, but also at the same time to help us progress with a nod towards the past. And to me, I view my responsibility as a steward of real estate here in this town to look at this and say, and Rudy and I had a very kind of fun, tongue-in-cheek conversation about this, where I said, gosh, I kind of see that my job is to take it to what it should have been. And he goes, well, it doesn't say it should, it could. Okay, true, what it could have been. But in my mind, none of this fits with the square. And so I would like to take an opportunity to elevate the town. I don't live in the town, I live in the county. To elevate the town I live in, to make it prettier and make it more along the lines of what I think we all see Blanco as looking like.
In conversation, he wants to extend Redbud the bank to this side.
Yeah, and I specifically Redbud, I don't care. I actually care more about Texas Regional because side by side you see them, right? Your eye goes there right away.
And the other awnings in the square are this pitch, it's more
Right.
like, you know, less pitch, whatever the angle that is.
And then you
Are
have
they're
the-
all narrow buildings, right? Right. Yours is gonna be a big, usually about as big as Redbud.
That's what it is.
So this is ours to discuss right
Yeah,
now.
and what you do, what I've read, whoever makes the motion, you basically almost read it. So you have an understanding that, like, you know, West Friday night, you read it and say, I approve, or with modification. Being that I haven't been here since I left, you know,
We approve of your report or we deny your report with the modification? Okay, we don't approve this application, we approve your report.
you go by the
We go
report.
by each one.
But what he,
Okay,
his
my-
presentation was not, it was an idea. Mine is based on all the records that are and photos. So what I read, you can reread it, but if you want to approve of what I denied, then you say, we approve of this, strike that off. So when your minutes come out, your minutes look almost like mine, both of you approve. Because there might be something that I approve of, that you guys don't, or it might be with modifications. That's it. And
Yeah, I think do we
We're gonna rank
discuss
her.
here or do we go, Rick, I don't know.
So, I
policy.
think what Rudy's saying, there's staff recommendations.
Yeah.
basically what- And then if you go through them and there are things that you don't agree with on staff, you can say, I don't have to approve this.
Correct.
I mean, that's, I
Right,
mean,
do we
that's.
talk about this here, or do we write?
Like, is it?
No, you can talk about this part.
Yeah, I didn't know, because I
Take,
like
take public,
public.
I'm inclined to lose the A-frame and let do this. All right, that's the only issue.
Yeah, and I think we should allow the full length of the awning, as
Yeah.
long as, because the more shade, the more inviting it looks.
The more inviting and.
I'd probably stipulate that it be as, I don't know what it is, but I would advise that it is white as possible. Centered on the building.
I mean, my only thing is like, how do we protect it when we take that out? You know, to put something in, to make it fit, because it, like, that does not fit to me. Like, it is, mid-century modern does not, it's, to me, is not historic. Like, just full stop,
The barn with that on it, right?
yeah. Like, why? But personally, that's kind of where I'm standing. It's like, how would we?
It was a lovely addition.
You're not,
At the top, exactly.
you're not gonna use,
It's
you're not gonna use that
acceptance.
space for signage?
Which,
The space over your proposed on it? Where the A-frame is?
so signage will go where, so what I have stated and will basically stick with is signage will reappear where it once was. And not in the 90s where it was just like 16 weeks ago with Texas Bank, right? So this wood rock, or this rock facade right here, there was a logo signage
Where the holes are.
where the holes are. And then on the flip side, where the holes are. And I plan on putting the same sign, same type of sign back up to fill the same type of space.
Now, having said signs, still needs to pull a permit for a sign, so I go back. And possibly lighting if it's against the board.
Yeah, well, then
If it
Wayne
can-
does now, I'd like to get involved.
Yeah, like if you want the big old spotlights, then we need to put it right.
We were gonna do the big type with the,
With the lights, the blinking lights,
I want them to see it from
The
space.
digital sign, that's why we want a digital LED.
the
sign,
new
right?
star, but down.
No, I want it to be classic.
Barbie, what, do you wanna have some final thoughts on?
I just wondered where you guys were on this.
Wallace?
I want to approve the awning all the way across.
Me too. Yeah.
Jack?
I think that
Oh,
would be
yeah.
good.
I,
I think
I like the federal wood across.
Just, that seems mid-century. I don't know, the fifties were, like, the 50 years ago thing doesn't seem historic to me yet, but
And it doesn't match anything. Very good.
that's another one. But I think the other part is like the 70s were good for a thing.
Yeah.
We really trust the 70s choices.
May I just comment on the awning all the way across? If we can verbalize this or memorialize this in a way where I would love to try to take that awning as far as I can. That is my intent. But I might stop short of all the way just based on signage. So as long as that's okay with you,
Well, it's just a recommendation. We're just passing this along, right?
No, we're the final, yeah.
Okay, bro.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so if we can stay, you know, as wide as the owner sees fit.
Yeah.
And you know, from me to y'all, that's my goal, but I have to make sure there's enough room for that signage as far as that as close to 281 as possible.
yes.
Because otherwise the whole idea of buying a corner building is lost.
So my next question is maybe like the length of the stucco for the awning,
That-
that would flow.
So I would say maybe your verbiage is, you know, the length of the stucco or greater. And that way, if I can go greater for your sake, I will, and if I can't, at least I build the stucco.
That's not gonna make sense. So if you put a sign up, you just like, make a full stop at the stucco. and
I think that makes it, I just want to be deferential to your request.
Um, and then Rudy, how would we go about implementing something like this? You know, I know you said deny, but if we were to approve it to get rid of that A-frame thing, how would we go about that with the least amount of damage? And could we, like, as you said, make sure something was in place to preserve stucco, to minimize damage, et cetera?
From construction background, once you go to A-frame, and there should be a reflection up there against the wall. This stuff about would just have to match what's there and paint over it or behind.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to match anything.
Yeah.
Different times. And as far as the mortar, if you touch some mortar on the rocks, keep that same color.
Okay.
Matching being impossible, but blending being possible.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, weather wear is a big thing.
What the stucco guys normally would have to do, they'll put a piece of plywood and they'll make their mud white color, they'll buy the dark wood. And then they'll let it dry for about a day or two. And then you come back and say, that's going up. You might need to buy a kitty color. And you say, that's perfect right there. But never try to put it on soil if it's already dirty. Because once you clean it, then the other one stays there. Not a trick, but you know, it takes place.
And do you have someone like in mind hired, et cetera, that can do like this kind of historic work? Because this isn't just like a contractor thing. I don't know if that was in the report and I'm totally.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, it's on the references, on the stuff.
respectfully, I think anybody who takes pride in their work could do this, right? So for me as a business owner, I have to find someone who takes pride in their work, right? Because if I hire someone who claims they can do historic stuff, but doesn't take pride in their work, they're worthless. So I have both local and from Spring Branch and from River Springs, you know, what I've learned being in this business is you have somebody lined up, ready to go, they're committed, and then they walk off the job site. So we have a plan A and a B, and a plan A and a B for our B and a C. That's where we're at.
So following that up, I know you put in your report how to achieve this. Is there kind of an enforcement for your plans to make sure you're following what is?
Not if there's not a building inspector. And what I don't mean is one that comes from other, you would have someone, it could be Warren, or he could ask me to go take a look. It's a small town, we don't have a development center. Although I sent them an email, I recommend that somehow work out a development center. Then have to go crazy, it's so simple. So it's kind of hard at principle. What he just said, you hire the right guy to do it, that's common knowledge to most stucco guys. And there's a handful. I'll give you an example, like at the Alamo, San Antonio. There's only one contractor that they hire to do their stucco work and patchwork and work. And you would talk to the people at your courthouse, because I believe they know that person.
Do you know their name?
No, I didn't go to the extension for that. I haven't. But it's up to him to get it right. And I'm sure he wants it to look classy, right? On the side, you can tell that it was a messy job.
But walk inside, you can tell it's even messier.
You know, sometimes it's not feasible to hire someone local just because he can do it all. Specialize in nothing.
So do we just make a motion to approve?
Mostly what you're approving is the awning.
Yeah.
And the cedar.
So let's start at the top. The next one, so if we're approving, because if you look down through this, the new wood cedar, that was denied. The removing A-frame was denied. And then everything else, installation of the commercial grade exit was recommended approved. And then the existing stucco cleanup was recommended to be approved. So I think both of those make sense. I would definitely agree, let's not have people burn to death in a building. So I think we can go through those and approve them. The other two that were recommended tonight, we're gonna have to make a motion on all of them, right? But we have to go through that. So I'm just gonna go through each one. So the first one was removing the existing A-frame porch over Main 4th Street and entry was recommended to be denied. Do I need to read this?
They do good.
Let me put the based on the original copies. So, based on the near original copies of the printed documents registered with the National Registry of Historic Places back in 1991, as found online. From 1991 till 1999, the building extended to the property line or close to. Here's the city's record for a permit that shows that PEC on November 29th, 1999, pulled a building permit to remove the canopy, renovate MEP and building interior, and replace the roof. We don't have a copy dated 11/29/1999, but either way it was done.
Very good.
In keeping with the Texas Hill Country look, the owner would like some outside dining on the south side of the building, 4th Street, to follow the front facade. Thank you. Facade look of Redbud Cafe and Texas Regional Bank. By constructing a new awning using the same wood cedar beams and a color stain metal post and the green color R roof metal panels as existing at the main street side of this building, with a new 25 by 10 slab and an awning with metal posts. I entertained the idea of metal railings as the Redbud Cafe to divide your on-site dining customers to the sidewalk pedestrians. These railing ideas are not necessarily approved by the COA. If BHPC does approve the new awning, the existing A-frame roof porch should remain in place and the new awning can be blended in. So now we can make a motion.
I have one question before you close that. 10 feet is Al, where does 25 start from the left to the right? Where does 25 stop? But that was your writing. Which to the right, where's 25? Did y'all measure it?
We did.
Do you kind of recall what it's like?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, just based off of the back and forth and how things have changed from day one, I believe 25 feet is from just shy of the driveway opening to just shy of the stone. I believe that is, in the original rendering that we provided you, it was shifted this way off to the right. So I believe we'll take that same measurement and just shift it back to the left.
Why that's important? I like what he just said, because if y'all allow him to go almost to the street and almost to the start of the driveway, that's no longer 25. So those numbers have to kind of vary and change the wording on that.
So, Warren or Rudy, I have a question.
Okay.
Is it possible to approve, like, accept the denial or approve our version of this, but have to come back with the actual foot, like the,
As best as you can get it up to date,
that's fair.
you can go by the 25 and say he's gonna start from the left opening to the right, and then it's set in stone. If he's not happy with that, he can always appeal. But you're hoping he doesn't have to appeal, so he can get started.
And
Yeah.
so I guess just, English being the prevailing language that we gotta work with, I would write it in such a way that would allow us the flexibility of working together without having to meet again. And so, state the 25 feet or what would be advisable to make this look most appealing, right? And then rely on the permitting side of things with the city to keep us in check, right? If everybody's okay here at the board, then if we end up being 26 feet or 24 and a half or 27 3/4, we have written it in a way where it doesn't look like you guys made a mistake and it doesn't look like we, try to take advantage. That would be my goal. I think we're all, sorry, I'm speaking, as if we're all good faith actors. I'm not speaking like some big bad developer or someone who's trying to, just ramrod something through. I want y'all to be happy because this is a small enough town. You're going to come by and you're going to have a really good feeling about us or a really bad feeling about us, and hoping it will be the former.
So, Warren or Rudy, would it be like if we just said from one end of the stucco to the other end of the stucco, and then would that work?
That would work more. You can put from the left side of the stucco all the way to the corner, the opposite corner.
Okay.
But he's requesting 25. Whenever you have numbers in his document, you should stick to that. If he's trying to be flexible, then you can adjust that by listening. Okay? Because that's a modification, that falls under modification.
Yeah.
Okay?
Does anybody else have any comments? Greta, do you have something you want to add?
Did you make a motion already?
No, we haven't made the motion yet. Did anyone have comments?
Only voting members can.
Yeah, it was just a, she technically advised her, so I was letting her advise it. That's a motion.
We'll close it here.
I make a motion to remove the existing A-frame roof porch on Main 4th Street entry to be accepted. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, now we have the next couple, correct?
The side.
So I'll read through those. What's that? If BHPC does approve the new awning, the existing A-frame roof porch should remain in place and the new awning to be blended in. The installation of the new wood cedar lap siding to the current 2 vertical stucco spaces facing Main Street will change the exterior look dated 1999. This too should be denied according to Rudy's report. I think we just approved that, correct? All right.
I don't, can I say something? I don't like the wood siding. I mean, the wood on there. I don't like that. I think that's.
That discussion is with you.
Yeah.
That's what we're expecting.
So we can deny that.
Yeah, we can deny it. That's something I just, from the pictures that, you know, you brought in the first time, I don't really care for that. I don't like that.
We approved them.
We approved the awning.
We already approved it on.
Yeah,
Can we
this is,
approve the rest of the report, or we're
we're
doing
going
that?
through to approve the rest of it. So the next one is the current siting.
Warren, can you pull that image up? Can we go, please? The one that showed,
Main Street. One more, Spectrum.
no, actually, the one that shows the proposed siding.
Oh, you want the rendering?
The
You want the
rendering,
rendering?
yes.
I'll let it warm with a lot of pictures. There you go.
Yep, that will work.
That's the one you want?
Nope,
Nothing over.
you were already there.
Spectrum.
So just let the record show that there is an awning currently there in that space, and we are not trying to remove it.
So what, the stucco, this one, the new wood cedar, where?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where the,
It was dark.
The horizontal flat there, guys.
that is currently stucco.
That's 1975 stuff. The stone is a different color than that. It's kind of like a lime, blanco color.
I have a couple of those pile them,
I would.
The wood one?
but that's, you know,
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
Jacqueline?
That's right.
I keep looking and going, is it, because I noticed that the stone has this color, I don't know, is that gonna be complementary to the stones? Because this may not be the exact color of the flag.
It isn't, you know, it's hard to, like we said, it's hard to manage.
Yeah,
The idea was we didn't believe stucco to be indicative of what would have been done historically. And me personally looking at a historical moniker of 50+ years, 100 years, weren't really doing the stucco that we see on that building. And so our thought was, hey, what's more hill country than cedar? That was the motivation, but,
well, they maybe it's one of the features.
Well, can you just not put it so solid?
would you redefine what not so solid is?
Like spaces in between, not fill it in all the way.
Oh, no, it's gonna be about this. He's talking about right here. And
Oh, it is.
maybe put cedar.
We're not replacing any stone with cedar, all of the existing.
So this is the
That'll
stuff.
stay the way it is, that's why.
Orange,
Can you
put
put-
back that other picture that it should be that it is right now?
Color parts, that's where it's,
You just go-
stucco right now, and that's where they want to see your lines.
Oh, you want?
Go to the other email, please, Warren.
And they did use a lot of cedar.
And thank you.
Yeah, so.
Sorry about that.
Too busy looking for you.
Sorry, I should have brought big boards and a wand that I could point to.
Swing one.
Yeah,
Oh, the Main Street.
again,
Yeah.
one more. Oh, no more.
It's another email.
I'll update the green.
At any rate, I'll approach. So the idea is to take, this is what we were intending to be cedar. This is we're intending to keep as is, the rock that's currently there. And this cedar is just a fill-in.
Talking about that, correct?
Correct, yep. That's what I think.
So the rock is gonna stay, where it's painted down, stucco. He wants to be wood. I don't know if I like it either.
I don't like it.
I don't care. And I didn't mean I don't care if you like it. I mean, I don't care what.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't care whether you. I sound like a jerk now.
That's gonna come up very badly.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I think I've got motion to not put that in this. No, I don't care if you approve or not, because it doesn't make or break my building. So, yeah, there you go. If for the sake of peacemaking in a small town, we leave it as is. We leave it as is. I truly don't have a.
Oh, that's exactly what it looks like. to me.
It would have cedar instead of that stucco.
Let me go up there and point. Let me go-
I see.
Oh, let me see what you're showing.
I don't, yeah.
I'm in favor of doing anything other than.
He's talking about here, putting cedar, columns, and right there. We've got them.
We will be there.
And that is.
It's not changing.
There you go. The reason why commercial buildings use stucco is maintenance free. Cedar can cook inside.
Yeah.
And then
Replacing.
they might not, the next person might not fix it. And then we got a big major problem. So it's maintenance free, what's there. Wash it down, walk away.
Is everybody? Like, we'll vote for it, but is there any further discussion?
Exactly.
All right. We make a motion that the new cedar lap siding on the 2 vertical stucco spaces facing Main Street, be denied.
Thank you.
I make a motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
I feel like we accomplished something.
Okay, the next one is the exit. The installation of a new commercial grade exit door that meets the IBC at the west wall by the drive-through at the rear roof line should be approved. Per Rudy's report, it's where the money depository will be removed, and since it's obvious that the door was removed at some point for the money depository and the texture of the existing stucco does not match the building stucco finish. Any discussion? I make a motion to approve this. Can I have a second? Barnaby second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you again.
We're getting. All right, the next one is the existing stucco should be cleaned up, patched, and paint of the existing stucco, metal posts in the black color. I don't know how to say that. Beige. Okay, any painted trim and apply a coat of stain on the existing cedar beams. Open under the side of the roof decking and the roof rafters at the exiting awning should be approved per Rudy's report. The color choice will be as existing or as close to.
With the shade siding.
So is the rest of the next one. Okay. Apply a color mortar or filler to all drill holes in the existing rock. All other plastic anchored sleeves should be removed. Mortar, use the bright mortar mixed lime and sand in a 3:1 sand to lime ratio without Portland cement additives to mimic the original rock. Any discussion as far as patching up the existing stucco? All right, I make a motion to clean up, patch, and paint the existing stucco metal posts in black color fascia and painted trim, and apply a coat of stain in the existing cedar beams, open under the side of the roof decking, and open rafters at the existing awnings. I second the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's, I think that's it for us.
That's it.
I guess the question is either for y'all or Warren, do I get a document that states this, the certificate of appropriateness? Is that what comes out of this approval?
That third page on the package that comes with it, it actually should be good. What the chairman will do, okay, I don't even know what's on, what the chairman will do is that she'll fill in all that there, that's the blanks, with the modifications. You turn it in as soon as you can to the office, it could be as soon as tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. And then I believe the UDC said that they'll mail you a certified letter you've been approved. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, local mail.
And it's a pity you're bringing.
I'm sorry?
It's a pity you're bringing any of the pizza.
I can't wait to turn you guys. That means that I actually built the kitchen.
That's right.
So I have a question.
No, you're,
What's your, you just did this one in, Griffin. What before that?
My background?
Yeah, the company's background, your background.
So the company's brand new. It's 3 partners that have varying skill sets and backgrounds. We all, in some way, shape, or form, are in real estate finance or real estate development, but I have happened to also have been in food and beverage. A Greek grandfather and a Greek and Persian. So 2 cultures that take a lot of pride in their foods.
I want to go to your house for dinner.
Yeah. I mean, this takes work looking like this. So. So at any rate, we got to talking about how we wanted to do something in food, how they had never done anything in food, and I'd always done. I own a catering company, I have a food truck. I'm the weird mortgage broker. We do mortgage brokering in Texas, Arizona, and California. I'm the mortgage broker that when I finish my daily calls, I go and work with Moses at Uptown Blanco because I like to be in a kitchen setting or in a hospitality setting. So we basically took our skill sets together and said, we think we can do this. No one needs another Pizza Hut. No one needs another Domino's. No one needs another, anything else out there. So we're going to take the model of pizza that we haven't recreated. We're going to just do pizza. We're going to do it really well. But we're partnering with Barton Springs Milk to use really high quality flour without having to charge crazy prices. We're partnering with the dairies to pick the best cheese. So the idea is really high quality food at fast food prices.
You're making this hungry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for putting up with this.
Did I have anything on with
Yeah, I was hoping you would. think so.
I'll make some baklava. I think it's good.
That's the cons instead of walnuts.
Yeah.
I want.
All right, next, new business, is consideration and discussion and take action on the approval of certificate of appropriateness for Hill Country Real Estate at 413 Main Street, Blanco, Texas.
You see the rooster up there?
Oh, the one you want to the rooster?
Everybody wants to see the rooster. That's what I have.
That's my color.
That's right. So let me read the report on how the full package. It says, this report is based on the UDC Chapter 4, Blanco Design Guidelines in the City of Blanco, Blanco Historic Paint Guidelines, the Secretary Interior Treatment of Historic Properties Guidelines. The BHPC should approve the new colors, white for the wood siding, black for the trim, and rooster red for the doors and the screen. Is that correct?
I don't have any screens.
I was one. There's a little one over the bathroom.
Oh, well, I'm just thinking, I'll wait that one.
Save the screens, okay. Replace any rotten wood, exterior and lap siding, the number is 170 siding, by the way. Looks like 2 little teardrops. Wood fascia, wood trim as needed on the columns will help you. Front and rear porch floors will be either painted or stained. That's up to you. Chemical or physical treatments, if appropriate, will be undertaken using the gentlest means possible. Treatments that cause damage to historic material should not be used. The historic character of the property will be retained and preserved. The removal of distinctive material or alterations of features, spaces, characterizing property will be avoided. Deteriorated historic features will be repaired rather than replaced. And this house doesn't have a lot of details. Okay? For the severity of deterioration required replacements of distinctive feature, the new feature will match all the design, color, texture, and where possible material. Replace the existing sign at the same location of the same size with a new signage permit. Okay, there's the side of things. She's basically saying the same direction from the highway to the facing of the first post. The ordinance is 8 feet. But she's okay there. We have one resident, well, property owner, sorry, they moved it forward, but I caught that. So it has to stay there. And she's pretty hungry. Then that's the typical size, 32 square feet Yes. Or whatever, she's basically gonna stay within that there. And she's gonna put one more little thing on the top, which is within the same.
That'll be another approval process. Be another approval process. We're not worried about.
No, no, we're doing that all today. On his was separate, it's on hold, it hasn't.
I'm gonna put that.
But she's staying within the square footage.
Yeah,
You okay?
this is an idea that she's recommending,
Not the double sided.
just the upper stuff.
There's that little up those top, but you address the address part.
The upper stuff.
Main Street in big letter. Not 281.
You needed sign, new sign.
I know that,
You needed a sign.
I have been just, the colors have been driving nuts. And I saw those roosters at Tractor Supply in Fredericksburg, and I was, and I went, not only do I love these roosters, this is it. These are my colors.
Kind of like the doors out here. It's historic.
So did
They're just-
you need to come up and speak on this or? I mean, it's pretty clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'm very unprepared.
No, fine. I was just making sure.
Are you asking Katie?
Rory's-
You don't need that.
What do you want to talk about?
You're good. For the recommendation, I think.
Yeah, this was a simple one.
Yeah.
You almost didn't even hit me. for that.
Is
Wait,
there
wait,
anything on there?
Wait a minute,
Do you have it?
No, there's not. I don't have.
I can't find it.
I can't.
Yeah, you got this one.
No, I got everything else but that.
Yeah.
You got, you got a report?
Some did, some didn't.
I just want to make sure that I'm reading it verbatim.
Okay, well, let me.
Or you can, because it's pretty straightforward. This one's not.
Oh, report, yeah.
I have the COA, I don't have the report. Yeah. That's.
And y'all did get that application, correct?
Yes.
Yes, I have the COA, yeah. Okay. Well,
On this, when you get the COA, that changed almost at the end of my HPO. This one says attention residents and neighbors. On his, it says to send letters, and it would only be the ones in the front. It would affect construction. Okay, so he's only has one neighbor. But this one here, she can put it on the glass. That way people say, well, she got a permit. Because one thing about Blanco and a lot of little towns, especially historic districts, they didn't get a permit. But when they see that, that removes all those. That way no one will push that. I know, you know, everybody wants to know everything. And that's everywhere, it's not just Blanco. Okay? You know, what's crazy.
We're talking about candy plate.
I did already.
Okay.
I was quick, right?
Can we approve the report as
Yeah, yeah.
presented?
Already.
You can,
Not
if you want me
the-
to send you.
He gave it to me. It's the BHPC, moves to approve the new colors, white for the wood siding, black trim, red doors and screen, replacing rotting wood exterior wrap, number 117 siding, wood fascia, wood trim as needed, front and rear porch boards should be painted or stained. I make a motion to.
Can I make an addition?
Yes. Okay.
Hey, my idea about, I think that's the most important. Wow.
I'm going to make an addition because I want to put, some rain, I'm replacing the gutters. And then I want to put some rain barrels on each corner. And
Rain
since I'm a pro water person, I said, well, that would be kind of stupid if I didn't have those on.
So do I just?
That kind of falls under maintenance, there's no approval.
Okay, I was like.
Because I
I'll do it.
didn't want to ruffle anybody's feathers.
No, you're doing good.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna do that.
And I think I'm that are.
He's smiling.
Just empty the barrel and let.
All right, I make a motion
Well,
to approve
I
this. Do I have a second?
All of us second. It doesn't matter.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, so both of those.
Great.
Now, moving on to old business. It's going to be the consideration, discussion, taking action on the assignment of a secretary for a new 2-year term from July 1st, 23 to June 30th, 25.
I make the motion.
For
Fine.
I already voted him off the island, so he's going. So I will second your motion. All in favor to make Barbie the secretary? Aye. Barbie.
Thank
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry. There you go.
The next is consideration discussion for taking action on the assignment of 2 to 4. I thought we did this one. 2 to 4 longtime residents theater to serve as advisors, historians. Yeah, let's do that.
I'm sorry, boy, promise.
It's okay. That's taken care of. Discussion regarding overview of certified local government, the COG. Do we have any further discussion on that right now?
Not right
I move to table this. And the discussion of goals and status of workshops, and again, we can table that as well, based on needing more dates from everybody, not this, but, yeah.
I do have a question now. Okay, what were we doing with, we had $1,500 that we would spend at the, till the end of September? And
Okay.
so are we going to print the brochures that,
The brochures have already been approved.
okay,
And so as far as getting, you know, paid for that, as long as the invoice that comes in is before October, it's backdated before October 1st, you're fine. But if it comes in on October 2nd, it says September 30th, you're fine, but if that invoice says October 1st, then you're in the new year, so
Okay.
be cognizant of
have
it.
we already ordered them? Have we?
It's a very weird situation on that. I have not. I've reached out to who was doing it and Marcy, and it's just kind of been a round and round. So I don't. Greta, do you have any?
They're not ordered.
Pardon?
They're not ordered.
The
The
brochures? No, because I can't go with Marcy. Like I emailed and whatnot, and
So my suggestion is why don't you get with the city secretary, she'll try to help you on that. Do
okay,
that pretty quick.
all right, we'll do that.
Do we need to make a motion that we spent some of that, but we don't know?
No, I don't think we need to make a motion, do we? No. We're good. So, the goals and worship, that's taken care of. What you talked about is something I'll have to do with Lori.
Okay,
And then I'll email y'all with the workshop stuff.
okay.
So next is the committee reports, streetscape and walk wall by Retta, please.
Because we're in the historic district and we have a lot of things in the historic district to do and take care of. So I have streetscape first. I'm all three tonight, really. So
You would change the
streetscape. And I kind of wrote this so I could just read it and just put in an ad lib. Resolution, the Blanco Preservation Action Plan is what created our streetscape project, along with Not Friendly Skies and other things that we do. The signage, updating the signage was one of them in there. The four entry signs, the Hollis has worked on for years is in there.
and streetscape is in there, and I'm thirsty now. The resolution, the city gave us a resolution, or gave a resolution in October 2009, first meeting that we had, to form a committee, a streetscape committee. It is like an ad hoc committee, a standalone committee, like under the umbrella of the Blanco Historic Commission. The first one was formed in January 1st of 2010. We had 10 committee members, and 2 of those were from the Historic Commission. The city told us what, different things that we should look for, but the Historic Commission has to be on there as the chairs. So, Pam and I have been on since we have resurrected it. 10 committee members, 2 from BHP, and we've got for 7 years, and we had a lot of work done in 7 years. After the first 4 years, we realized that we couldn't get it done, and the money raised, and so Jim Rady did an ad hoc, and he did a conceptual plan in 2014. During this time that we worked on these committee, our city attorney, our mayor, and in fact, Bobby Mack, everybody knows Bobby Mack was a part of it. It was decided that Key Blanco Beautiful would be the fundraiser and the financial part of it, because it's a 501c3, and it's that way it's about 10% on donations. So it was called a management of agreement, and it's still in effect with KBB. And so it doesn't mean that everybody doesn't help with the fundraiser. It just means that we have the bank accounts and we do the brochures. In fact, we're working on the streetscape brochures right now. We're far behind in fundraising. In 2014, Jim came up with a conceptual plan. We kept working on it and trying to raise the money, and we turned it over to a project manager to see if they could do it. And we had $16,000 in the bank at that time, and we spent $7,500 to have him go see if he could find the money, but he didn't find the money either. In 2017, Bruce Peel, who's our mayor, put us in an inactive status, a temporary inactive status. In December 2020, I came back to the city council and said, let's get this going again, let's resurrect this. And we reactivated it with 5 members, and then we changed it to 7, 2 being from BHPC and Key Blanco Beautiful. We selected Sue Ann Pemberton for our architect. She owns Main Street Architects in San Antonio, and she's also the one that did our design guidelines in 2010 and 2011. That was done with the $25,000. It cost $25,000, and it was done with a grant. The city paid $12,500, and the grant paid $12,500. We decided. So she's been working with us since then, since 2020. It took about a year to decide on her. We had 2 RFQs out. We decided to do it in phases. And the first phase, we started at 0300, and we went down. Our surveyor is Chris. I'll find his last name somewhere in here. He came. It went from 0300 and went just past City Hall. So we have been working on that. Susan has done the schematics of it for this. And we have started the survey on the property lines is Chris, Jurica. Status now is completing phase 1. And where we are right now is that we're completing phase 1 for the schematic. Not to go to the construction yet, but our committee decided this, not to go to the construction yet, but to go to phase 2, which will be 3rd Street. She had jumped across the street anyway to get the car cranberries. So we're going to 3rd Street to 281. The schematic and more surveying for phase 1. She will also extend both sides of the Con Street. Instead of where it stopped at the City Hall, it will go to the concrete. And the same thing on the cranberry side, it will go to the block wall. extend that from third to the nature trail on the east side of Pencil Park. Due to the problem that TxDOT caused with these four quarters, they came in and they did not even, we had a charge to do a plan. And they didn't even ask us about it. They just went and started chopping up the four corners up here and four slabs out there. It has caused a flooding problem. They have agreed to take 3 out or 2 out that I know of at the expense and replace them with Suzanne's schematic and construction plan. So what she's going to have to do is now come up with her schematic plan on those and construction plan. And we're hoping this big event that we're going to be having with the moon and everything going on, we're hoping to have at least that's done, but that's in April. At least that part done, because this one out is called flooding, railroad flooding. This business is on this side. I stand on my porch, and where it used to come straight down in front of my ditch, now it goes way out into the road and onto the other side like hers and the corner store, and probably it would go into Texas County too. So all that's a part of this. I've been on the phone. I've had Chris, our surveyor, to start on the new things that he's going to be doing. And I talked to him today, and he said he'll work on the exhibit today and tomorrow morning, showing limits of survey, and then everyone can chime in with the show it is responsible for paying, because like TxDOT will take over that. You won't be paying that. You pay sale here. Clarification is still limits at that time also. We will then have streetscape meeting for approval and start more fundraising. And we're going to do QR code, and we're going to do PayPal, and we're going to do a lot of different types of fundraising, because this goes into construction. We're talking, this is 1, that's 2, that will be 3 over here on 4th Street, which is partially done. What will be 4 will be 281, the old 281, and will be Main Street. And by this time, we hope that it is Main Street, and you can go in and you can have olives and you can have greens and you can calm the traffic. You always want to calm the traffic. And so that's what we're fundraising. So that's on streetscape. Anybody have any questions about streetscape? Okay. We need everybody's help here. And it's their permission.
I'm gonna walk out. I've got to go to the.
The historic commission needs to be involved.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. And keep knowing what's going on. Stay involved. So the next thing we're on right now is rock wall in May, behind Cranberries. In May 2018, after several attempts on me to have the city deal with the deterioration of the rock retaining wall behind Cranberries, the BHPC issued a demolition by neglect demand letter that they hire an engineer to study the rock wall. Patrick Sparks with Sparks Engineering was hired. The city paid less than half, and the commission paid a little bit more than half of it. So $5,000. I think we paid $2,600 for that. That was done in 2018. The assessment was completed with a belief that the rock wall, the city owned rock wall from Cranberries all the way behind the Miles over here, up to 419 property line. The assessment was completed with the belief that the city owned that part. It was all included in the assessment. So he included everything. Sparks also assessed and examined this little bridge that crosses here. We didn't have that on his orders, but he went on and did it anyway. In 2018, he said the lifetime of this bridge is almost up. It was supposed to the end of its lifetime. It took over a year for Mayor Herndon to employ a surveyor and have a title policy for the ownership of rock wall. At this point, we believe that the city only owns to the property line between Mrs. and Canals. So it has been set it has sat all these years without any improvements or plans to rebuild the wall. Heidi, that owns the business part of Cranberries, made several contacts, or made at least one contact, and all, but I think more with the city due to the structural engineer report that their building was being damaged because of the instability of the wall. At my request, she had also been here, made a request to ask to help with the BHPC for help. The farmer administration had said it would be a year, I believe Warren, I think she met with Warren and Rachel, and y'all talked about a year then before they could do anything. With the new administration, we brought this matter back into active, and our city attorney is applying for a flood study and possible funding with this flood study with the U.S. Corps of Engineers. I also requested funds from the city and was turned down by 3 of our city council people. They weren't going to give me money for the rock wall. At this time, Mayor, I'm seeking to sell some city property to help pay for that project. We're hoping that the Corps of Engineers is going to go through. Years ago, the veterans plans, the veterans tried to get the combine, and they wanted to put a wall at the top, kind of like a river walk of the wall. And, but it was never part of streetscape, it was never part of us, it was there at the We discussed having the walk as part of the streetscape fundraising, but did not have the money to take it on right now. This is in the historic district and should have a commissioner member as part of it, all efforts on the wall and with BHPC and with the city. I called Pam, and the last time Warren, well, it was the, when we were talking about the repair and restoration down there, that Pam came and with Warren. So she needs to be y'all's representative because she probably knows more about it than everybody else, and be working with the city and what's going on, keep y'all informed. This project with the city, more is needed, like with the assessment of the bridge. I don't know, Warren, if you talk to Patrick about this, if he's going to update, think that too.
I haven't talked to him yet. I did actually look at the bridge though, so I did look at the bridge.
Did you look at?
Oh, yeah.
What's happened is all the collegiate, the bridge is washed out. Judy Garcia and I used to go out way out on and trim this land that went way out over the bridge with Christmas lights. And now you don't, the collegiate's on our back. It's not, cars that park there, it's the danger of them going down. There is a suggestion to take the rocks down. And this is something that y'all need to take on. Because of when Patrick is going to do this, or whoever does it, they can't rebuild it with rocks like an old rock wall. They'll have to do it with concrete, and he had planned to take the rocks and set them back in where it looks just like us. It would nothing concrete on the outside in. But if we take the rocks down and they number them, sell them for fundraising, they'll pay for it. And just like selling a brick that we did at the courthouse, and that would be put back just like it is. Again, we don't know how far that's going to go. Actually, that part of the problem there's this, let's see, just the silvery job. Okay. That's what that one says. Here's a picture. We had, Patrick is coming, updated their assessment. Got to pass this around and look at it. Now connected to the concrete. Concrete is, people like a vehicle is in repair and restoration in concrete. So of course, concrete actually goes all the way up to the dam up on 15th Street or way up there. But to 281, that rest is done there. The restoration is done there. So the rock wall has to be done before it. There's also been a plan for a long time about the park. The park couldn't be done until the wall's done, but there's been a plan to have a nature park for it.
kids to learn. Instead of having a roadside park with metal slides and plastic slides and everything, they can have boulders to climb on or logs to walk on and things like that. And so this has been going on for a long time right now. So, it's kind of up in the air. Rachel is over there, Rachel and several of the women's clubs, several of the local clubs are part of it. But again, it can't be done until the rock wall is done. And we're hoping to go on 3 more on the rock wall. And
I don't have the rock wall, but I will tell you that a couple council members have asked me to put the Pecan Park on the agenda, so we will be on the next.
yes, on the next agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
The name of the park is the Pecan Bottom. It has been the Pecan Bottom since 1800s and it's from State from, so that's the end of that one. Okay,
End of that one.
any questions?
Thank you.
If you want that report, I can email that to you. It's public knowledge. If you want me to send it to y'all.
I would like that.
Thank you. The last committee report is the Pittsburgh marker.
He's not here.
So that concludes the committee reports. Next is a word by the chairman. I think we're going to need to figure out the Facebook situation, taking over it. Who wants to do that?
Does anybody know?
Right now, Wendy's doing it. So just a thought in your mind to think about that. That's my word. I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 7:33.
I don't see that, volunteer Barnaby.
Yeah, I should make our board.
Brad has,
Part of the-
Brad has.